Good morning, Wednesday, November 30th, last day of November. Market analysis with Stan Ehrlich. Good morning. 10:05 a.m. California time. I always start with the S&P 500. It's my favorite index. And I've got something important to show here. First of all, of course, this is the total bear market, which basically started at the very beginning of January. I believe the high was on January 4th. Correct. We've got a few great signals. We had an ER buy signal. That's when you see the green vertical bar, and a sell signal when you see the red. Yellow means the market is either overbought or oversold. We got a buy in the very bottom of the market, naturally. October 13th. Told you about the October lows coming in advance, maybe 2 months in advance. That's worked out extremely well. It did create a head and shoulder bottom. That was the head of the head and shoulder bottom. I've outlined the shoulders with little green arch marks. The neckline is in green dot dash, and the minimum upside objective is right there. How interesting. We came up to 403, give or take a squeak, and topped out, came back down a little bit, came right back up to almost exactly, just a tiny bit higher, just before Thanksgiving and the day after, and started to come right back down again. So we have a short-term double top formation over a couple of weeks time frame at a resistance level, which was the beginning of an old gap closure. And that gap was way back on September 12 and 13. But it didn't get closed. That's pretty bearish. So far, and that is up to the minute, most of the lows we have seen in this last 2 weeks have been at today's low, which is about the same as yesterday's low, and a couple of lows a few days ago. There's only, in fact, one low in the last 2 weeks that was on the opening, and it popped right back up again. So we basically have a 2-week plus trading range, of which we just tested the bottom of. Let's take a little close look at that on the 1-minute chart for a second. And here we are. We dropped down sharply and quickly on the 1 minute this morning at 9:22 California time. Got oversold. That's why these bars are green. Got oversold in my custom RSI, which you see below, and then did it again, bounced off support. So that's very interesting. Twice in the last hour or two. And it's starting to rally back up again. It has rallied back up. But guess what? We're now on a 1 minute, very, very short-term basis. We're overbought. So I'm expecting it to pull back down some. Now, the bigger picture, I have to tell you, is very important here. Going back to the daily data chart, if that low, today's low, doesn't hold, we're going to start having a new low close for 2 weeks plus darn near 3 weeks, I think, and almost a lower low. And it might still today get below the low that was made on the 17th. So toppy formation, double top, resistance not stopping the rally. A gap wasn't closed, a pretty big one. It was the downside breakaway gap to that last big bear move, which led to the head and shoulder bottom. All minimum upside objectives have been fulfilled in the last few weeks, and that's based on the October low bottom pattern, the head and shoulder. So a new low close here, bad enough. Essentially, again, below the price of 393, 392 and a half. It might start something significant on the downside. How significant? Well, a test of the low of the whole bear market. I am still bearish, basically into the first couple of 3 months or so of next year, 2023. So you'll also be breaking a bull trend line. That there's a faint blue line I've drawn across the lows since October 13th that has 4 points on it. Now, basically, it's got 5 points on it because today's low is darn near there, right at that level. Yep, it's make it or break it time, so to speak. All right, let's take a quick look at the DIA. Got very overbought. Thanksgiving, excuse me, getting ahead of myself. Thanksgiving time, and has a bearish engulfing ER sell signal in progress today. If we continue to stay below yesterday's close and close below yesterday's close, we will have an official ER sell signal, which could be another sign that support below us is about to be challenged and broken, and we're about to start to fall apart a bit. There is a gap to close. It's not very big, down around 331.20-ish. So that's a little bit of a magnet. Gaps are like a black hole in space. They tend to suck the market back into the price range. One of my little old sayings. There's also a gap way down here at 311. And this rally high last Friday was up against a major previous high on August 16th. That's resistance, and it stopped. Okay, problems. QQQ real quick here, and daily data, and right here. Okay, good. So not quite the same story. Tried to form a head and shoulder bottom, got too darn lopsided for me, but we did still pick, of course, the October 13th low on all the indexes for that matter. And now we are testing a little bit of support. Not doing too well. I don't see it bouncing back very well yet. We're sitting right on the last couple of weeks with the lows like we saw in the other indexes and broke them a little bit. Yesterday was a lower low for the last 2 weeks and the lowest closing price. So today we're up a little bit at the moment, 87 cents, no big deal. It could easily turn back down again or just close sloppily and without any particular zoom to it. It is a inside trading range so far, and doesn't mean too much one way or the other to me anyway. We've got support of the market, but so do the others. But again, you're doing more damage to a long-term bear trend that's still very much intact, and you've got over the month-to-month and quarter-to-quarter time frames, lower lows and lower highs. That's what I call a bear trend. All right, let's look at the commodity markets now. First, touch on forex. Pick the bottom of the euro dollar. That's green. That's an ER buy signal, smack on the low of the move. Looks great so far. Got overbought, going sideways for a week or two. This is the euro to the US. So if you want to go to Europe, do it quickly, because we did see it down to 95-ish, and it's already back up to 103. I think there's a chance that we are building a very long-term bottom. It's going to take months for that to pan out. And I don't think a dip down to 99 or par is terribly unlikely. But that may not necessarily change the trend. That may be a significant buying opportunity. We'll see. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Dollar index is exactly the opposite. Top formation, sell signal on the high move. I'm looking for red and green for the most part. See red on top, that's a sell signal. On the dollar yen, that's great. Buy signal smack dab on the bottom of the Aussie US dollar, and another 2 more buy signals a few days later. Excellent. And a total actually over about a month period of time before them. First one didn't work. USDCAD Canada, sell signal smack on top, and a buy signal recently that's working okay. Yesterday it made the highest high and the highest close since that buy signal. And today it's down just a little bit, excuse me. Dollar Swiss. Major support. Bobbling around a little, got very oversold, don't know what to say. Just wait on that one. And euro to the pound, same kind of comment. Support area, got oversold, bobbling around a little bit. Let's go to futures. All right, I have started out with wheat lately. I continue to do that. Of course, we did catch the top of that incredible series of limit up moves and some locked limit all day long. Reminds me of when I started the business in '71 back in the Russian grain deal days. Same thing kind of happened, almost exactly, but bigger and better. That's where I weaned on technical analysis, early 70s. So nothing happening at the moment. We are testing support. We did get oversold, smack dab on the low day so far. So I'm expecting it to bounce back up a little bit. Next, nothing to say here. Platinum uptrend. Next, high grade. Questionable, significant sideways trading range. We did catch a turning point great on the low at the end of September. So modestly friendly. Natural gas got overbought and is slipping back down to the same trading range, but the long-term trend is kind of iffy here. Maybe down still. I don't have any firm opinion, but I want to bring to your attention, of course, we got a sell signal smack dab on the high day, August 23rd. Next chart. Soybean oil sideways after being overbought. No comments. A couple of buy signals lately, a little slow to catch on if they're going to. I need a close about 76 and a quarter, half higher, 77 would be great, etc. In order to start to confirm these buy signals working pretty well. Otherwise, we did catch the low, just didn't go up much. Next, bad sell signal, uptrend persisting, higher high. How can you help but be friendly here? A little on the bullish side, maybe at a minimum, of course, 15.05, 678. Next chart, cocoa, sell signal on top. We are coming back a bit, so I'm expecting it to turn back down pretty darn soon here. Next, sugar, outside down day proved to be good for only a few days. Kind of too much of a rally this morning, although we've lost the strength and we're now around unchanged almost. We caught that high. We caught that high. Next chart. Hogs. Today, hooray, we have a new bullish, I should say hoggish, buy signal. Outside up day in oversold condition, bullish engulfing, looks great. We'll see if it works. They don't all work, but we did catch the top there, and we caught some buy signals down there, and we got that. Oops, I missed that one. That buy signal right there, sell signal, and it was good, and oops, not too good. It only worked for a couple days. Remember, this is a short-term to swing and stretching that a little bit, maybe. Trading system that also allows you to put positions on for much longer terms if you wish. But how do you catch the top and bottom of the market if you're not relatively or even very short-term analytically inclined? Hello. Next chart. OJ. Couple of great sell signals, nothing going on. Maybe a head and shoulder top here. Got overbought in the first shoulder, possibly. Head of the formation is also overbought yellow. Neckline would be slanting down from here, a little bit lower, not too much of an angle, almost flat, but a little bit bearish. And now we're slipping. Timing is a slight bit lopsided, but not unusual. And yeah, that's a possibility. Keep an eye on it. Meal, soybean meal, caught the bottom, caught a good sell point, not the top. Caught the top of that rally, came close, but that was a bad sell signal. And that was a bad sell signal. Next chart. What was that? I'm sorry. Soybean meal, that's right. Heating oil, close to the high, right afterwards. And guess what? Yesterday, I pointed out this buy signal in progress while it was happening. Can we scale on this just a second? Okay. So there it is, the outside up day yesterday in oversold condition, a bullish engulfing. I'd like to be buying if I could at around these green dots for 3 days. That's my ER3 version of this buy signal. And the ER1 is long, would have gotten long right there at 3.2129, give or take a squeak. And so far, so good. So, well, how can I say anything but I'm bullish? I also would have raised my stop a little bit already. Next chart, and that was heating oil. Next chart, not much to say. Trend is up lately. We did catch the bottom of that break. We caught the top of that rally. And there was a limit, not limit, but a huge gap down the next day. That was great. Caught that high and that top. Oh, yum, yum. Next. Okay. Talked about the 10-year notes, the head and shoulder bottom that seems to have formed. We've had a couple of great trades in this. In the past, there's one of them. I had a much bigger one prior to that. Yeah, that was a huge one over a very long, almost 1 year time frame. Told you we had the ability to change the code so position trading can be done, and you would be picking the high day for many months prior and a year since, or more for that matter. Now, what do we have here? Breakout to the upside, classic run through the neckline, probable heavy volume trading range day on November 10th. Breakout. I see I didn't plot the minimum upside objective, which would be from the lowest low of the head to the neckline on the same day. Just eyeballing this real quick. Oh, I'm sorry, I did. Here we are. That's the minimum upside objective of 114.15. Call it 115. So we're sagging a little bit today, but a slight support. I'm thinking it's going to start to rally and make new highs within the next few days. If not, it might dip back a little bit more without necessarily damaging the overall up move, because the head and shoulder bottom. This is maybe a low risk dip to buy on. Next chart. Coffee. Caught the bottom. Great reversal. Not much else here except for overbought sold conditions over time. Ah, there's a green one I missed. Minor short-term high, down for a few days. Good profit potential. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a buy signal, darn it. That was completely wrong. It's green, so it didn't work, period. Probably lost a little bit. Red on top, great sell signal, great profit potentials, and a sell signal that didn't work very well at all. Maybe a little, maybe not. Next, we're going to get back to wheat in a minute and start doing sectors in a second. 20 cycle, not cycle low. Bottom, bullish engulfing, oversold in the E-mini. It is a futures contract, even though it's also stock indexes. I showed you the spider before. They are pretty much identical. Very minor differences between the two, but mostly because of the clock, for example, and what kind of information comes out at what time, well, which is the clock as well, of the day and night. So next, bonds, double bottom, oversold on the first low of the two. I think that's a bullish engulfing on the low day, but it's not green because it wasn't oversold, although very, very close. Right there. Super close. So up you go. A little overbought, couple days down. Similar comment to what I saw before on the 10-year note. I like what I see. I'm slightly friendly on the bonds, probably up to about 32, maybe a hair under over 132. Next chart, crude oil, oversold at support, managed to break through some sell stops, but pop right back up again 2 days ago, and is now rallying a little bit more. Trend is down, and we did catch the top of this move with 3 sell signals. So for the moment, I'm a little bit on the neutral, but expecting lower levels because the trend is your friend. Trend is down over a significant period of months. Next chart. Gold. Yep, we caught the low, the first major low of a triple bottom formation. It didn't turn out to be the exact low, but it was awful close. And we have an overbought condition recently, so we pulled back a little bit, and now we're coming up or sideways up a little bit. I obviously am expecting higher levels, but you got a lot of historical resistance above this market, so I am not super bullish. Next, silver. Same comments. Yeah, I see it. Possible shoulder, head, and shoulder bottom. Neckline from here to here got broken, but you dropped way back below the neckline. That's bad right there if you think that was a head and shoulder bottom over here. So probably at first reasonable assumption, but in the end, no. So wheat again. Last thing, sectors, I'll run right through them very quickly here. SMH, I try to keep the same order except for changes that I occasionally make. We caught the bottom of this sector. I don't care what it's called. There's stocks in it. Take a look at the individual stocks, see what you like from a signal point of view, and maybe you want to do something with that. XLK, caught the bottom. XLY, caught a very nice low recently for a couple of weeks. XLF, big bullish engulfing on the bottom, but it wasn't an official buy signal because it wasn't oversold. Darn it. And a sell signal that was good for only one day, unfortunately. Please remember, people, when I get these ER sell and buy signals, the red and green vertical bars on daily data charts, I move my protective stop during the same day that I enter the trade very quickly. And that is an adjustable amount, but we do have our defaults, and it's a decent track record, not the best in the world. I will do better. Now, XLI, today, bearish engulfing ER sell signal. It was oversold within the allotted days, overbought, excuse me, within the allotted days. And we have the red bearish engulfing for the vertical bar chart. Custom code changes this to red. We are almost finished with the same kind of code for NinjaTrader, and plan to be showing those charts again. I did it for a short period soon. So naturally, this is a brand new sell signal. Get short. If following the trading system, would be short. Didn't turn on the automation in this case. I like what I see. Going Tierra del Fuego south. Next chart. XOP. Got the top. Red. Should have put a little marker up there. Looking for a downside breakout. We have another bearish engulfing today, although nowhere near overbought, but that one caught the top of the move. So this implies going south. GDX. Now, new high and not a very good situation at the moment. Almost on to unchanged. Didn't hold the new highs. That implies it's getting a little tired, so to speak. No follow through. We had an official sell signal. It worked for a few days, 2 or 3. And then it made a little bit of new highs. I should mention that these red sell signals and green buy signals sometimes cluster. They get to be 2 or 3 or even 4 during a 1 or 2 or 3 week or so period of time. So they tend to cluster sometimes. But they can, and they're usually independent and stick out like a sore thumb, like that red one on top right there. All right. OIH, I should be going faster. Red on top, bearish, looking for lower levels. Next, XLB, double top. First one had a bearish engulfing, so I'm looking for another decline. XLP, sold the high of the rally only a few days ago, day after, this Monday. That was this Monday, and I told you about this on Monday, I'm pretty darn sure. Wouldn't have missed that one. So, hey, lowest low since, lowest close maybe since, on its way down. XLV, sold the high again on Monday, bearish engulfing. That's the day I got back and started publishing again from Thanksgiving week. And it managed to come back up for today's high around the little red dots. Remember, that's one of my entry levels, my more conservative, less risky. And it caught today. Great. IYE. What do you think I've got here? This is very interesting, people. 2 or 3 days to make a shoulder. 1, maybe 2 or 3 days to make the head of the formation. Obviously, more specifically 1 in this case, to make the last shoulder high. which is almost at the same levels of the first shoulder. That's classic head and shoulder development pricing. Neckline is actually potentially twofold. You don't see this very often. This is kind of rare. If you include that high, which was on November 1st, and today, as another high of significance in this pattern, you may be able to claim, and I need another day or two to be more sure about this, but I'm speaking up today, the day of the last part of the formation. Should go straight down from here. Period. Should. I hope. You will see that the formation is very symmetrical. You'll have two different necklines off that starting point or that starting point, which is probably the more legitimate one. The lines are almost parallel, not quite, and the downside objective differentiation from the either neckline is negligible. This is where it's supposed to go, give or take a little. Let's call it 43. That's it. Let's see if it happens in the next, I don't know, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks? Remember, bear moves move a little faster than bull moves, so maybe 2 or 3 weeks. That sounds more reasonable. 2 or 3 weeks. Good. All right. Last one. Sorry so long today. XLE. This has the same formation, but on purpose, I didn't draw in the markings and lines, but everything's there. Just take a closer look. There's no bearish engulfing. I didn't get a sell signal, unfortunately, during the time frame. That's too bad. We caught one up here almost at the high of that particular move. And I don't see anything fantastic. Well, that's not so bad. Green almost at the bottom, red on top of that particular rally. That wasn't very good sell signal. I think that's it. And I talked about that one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Have a great day. Signing off, Stan Ehrlich.